Thanks, everybody. So we're going to have 3 talks on some different topics on how data science is actually used in the real world, including non-ad tech, non-marketing related applications, and then we'll have a little discussion at the end to cover some more broad questions that people have, as well as any additional topics the panel wants to discuss. So we'll start with Andrew and Katrin from IBM. Welcome up.
Hi, I'm Katrin Ribant. I'm the CSO and one of the co-founders at Datorama. Datorama is a business intelligence platform for marketing, and we leverage AI and machine learning to help marketers integrate and harmonize their data, make sense, derive insights, and then take action for their marketing optimization. So I have Andrew Douglas from IBM with me today. And Andrew, first of all, let's get to know you. So what's your favorite color? What's your role at IBM? What challenges are you working with?
So if you wanted to see a really close-up picture of me, you can see it right there. So please take a picture of that so you have it for your later enjoyment. So I am Andrew Douglas. I am Vice President of Data-Driven Strategy at IBM. I have been at IBM all of 10 months, so I know everything about IBM that you can ever want to know. More recently, I was at WebMD, where we developed the data-driven marketing strategy and platforms. And prior to that, I was at GFK. And then prior to that, I was at Unilever, with some of those people in the room. So my role at IBM has been evolving. IBM, as you all probably know, is traditionally a very face-to-face marketing organization. It is a event-based or sales-based driven organization. In the last few years, we have changed that. We have gone digital, and the facing around that digital transformation is around the usage of our data, and hence why I'm there, who is developing a new MarTech stack that's connecting the data all the way from anonymized data through the identified data. But then also, when you think about marketing at IBM, you have to think about the absolute differences in our products. You have to think about the SaaS-based products, which are very transactional, so we have a lot of data, all the way from what people do and then all the way through usage. You have the services type data or products, which are much harder to understand. But then you have the enterprise-based products. And so the understanding of how to understand how that data folds in and how we actually use that data to market and then upsell, cross-sell, et cetera, is actually very important. And that's where we are.
And so could you, tell us, the audience, a little bit about the pain points and the benefits along that journey of data-driven marketing optimization?
So again, with the vastness that IBM is, and I know we have some Microsoft people in the room, our product lines are not just United States based, as many of your products aren't. But in our line of work, the actual connectivity across that broad marketing base, but also then across the entirety of the geography across the world, makes the data aggregation extraordinarily tenuous. So you think about all the specific publications, like in China, that you have to use for marketing. You think about the actual privacy, like we were talking about, regulations that are happening now in Europe. All of these very, very specific, but also very needed data elements make the data aggregation, curation, and the usage of that data much harder. And so that's a very specific pain point. However, the other pain point that I'd like to talk about is actually the transition of a marketing organization from an event-based marketing organization to a digital marketing organization. And that is transitioning the marketer to think digitally and to think about data and to think about data-driven marketing. And in that, you have to keep things simple. So the way that we've communicated that is by communicating that they have to think one thing. They have to think about optimization. They have to think about their audience, their content, and their consumer journey. If they do that and they think about how they're talking to their audience in their comm strategy, and do they have the right audience, do they have the right content, and do they have the right consumer journey, and we give the ability to measure that, and we give the ability to activate against that, then we become better marketers.
And specifically, obviously, you're working with a very large marketing team. And having access to these data in one place and being able to look at your performance and to understand out of your marketing mix what works, what doesn't at any moment in time in any given geography for any given business unit and product, I think has allowed you to make some evolutions in the way you've looked at your marketing mix, but also the structure of your marketing team and your organization. I think specifically kind of the evolution of a certain type of team around a certain type of decision making and execution. For as much as you can share, could you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. So the evolution of our organization has really been centralized on what we are considering diamond teams. And that's having basically the marketers work in a very agile way. And if all of you know Agile, you're better than me than I was 10 months ago. So Agile is a software-based process in development. And I'm sure you guys know that, some of you better than I do. But what we've done is to make this very exciting and transitional and to have optimization at the forefront is to put them in working teams where they're working in weekly scrums, which means they're working on weekly goals, they're doing daily stand-ups to say this is what we're optimizing, this is how we're getting better, and this is how we're executing. And what that allows them to do is it allows them to actually utilize the data. We have given all of our marketers, all 5,000 marketers, access to a data-driven platform to be able to look at their campaigns from stem to stern. And then what we ask them to do is to make changes. Make it simple and make a change. The quicker they make a decision, the more impact it's going to have and the better their campaign will do.
So that's where essentially the access to the performance data in a way that is really very actionable and really real time is paramount, right? That's where this is essential, I guess. So what my question would be kind of to conclude is, from this experience, if you were to talk to somebody who would be on this journey today and would try to embark on this experience on, as large a team as IBM or maybe not as large a team as IBM, what would you say you would kind of tell yourself in the past that you kind of would have wanted to do or would want to keep in mind?
Well, I'm on the main stage, so I can't say what I actually think. No, really, it's about keeping the data simple, keeping the story to the marketer simple. What a lot of us don't understand, a lot of us as data scientists and really hard statisticians and in some case really great strategists, is that we understand what the data is about. What I didn't understand coming into IBM is that transition is much harder for some people. That transition to understand how to actually activate against an audience or against some differentiating content is not that easy to understand for some people. And you have to make that transition with them. You have to make the data available in an easy, accessible way and point them to the right answer. And what you also have to do is you can't tell them that they're wrong. I know that sounds awful, but what you have to do is you have to say, make an optimization. If it doesn't work, someone said this earlier, that it's a testing feeling, it's a testing culture. It's okay not to test something correctly. You learn something and then you move on to the next thing. In my last awesome 10 months at IBM, the one thing that I would tell myself is, one, be patient. It's a huge organization. But two, it's really to instill that optimization need and to instill that test and learn type of mentality.
And yes, that's basically what we, kind of talk to our clients about a lot as well, is on the journey to data-driven marketing optimization, where you obviously want to have all your data in one place, you want to be able to slice and dice it every which way in order to have what essentially your teams now have at their fingertips, is keep in mind it's a journey and keep in mind that you want to focus your use case towards what's actionable and optimizable and build block by block towards that end goal, as opposed to trying to necessarily tackling the end goal immediately on, because it's a journey to maturity, basically.
So, and the last thing that I'll add, because I have 5 seconds, is that this also allows you to then do the advanced things, right? It frees up your data scientist time to actually move on to those things that are actually more important. So now we can talk about AI or cognitive, and we can talk about blockchain, which are going to be the next eventuality in our space.
Thank you.